This weekend, Snetterton plays host to Caterham Motorsport's vast portfolio of championships. Some fantastic racing in prospect around the Snetterton 300 circuit that always delivers action. First up, the Academy. There are so many drivers in the Caterham Academy, they're split into two groups. The green group, led by Peter Spencer, Stephen Tozer second, and then Tom John third, from Pete Walters, Ian Johnson and Marcus Rawlinson in sixth spot. The white group, and they'll be on track in a moment, headed by Ben Gillius. He's 3 points up on James Beardwell. Rockingham winner, Jay McCormack, though, he's creeping up, he's third. The white group on the grid. We're almost ready to go racing. They have one race per weekend. It's a 15-minute race, and Ben Gillius, the man on pole position, number 30, winner of the sprint at Cabra. Rockingham race winner, Jay McCormack, lining up with him at the front of the grid. The series starts with two sprints, Aintree and Cabra, and then you're into races. There are extra points to be scored if you go marshalling. We're about to go racing. Drivers now look towards the lights. They go red, engine notes rise when the lights go out. Now we're away, and a great start made by Jay McCormack from the outside of the front row. Everybody blasts away down towards Riches for the first time, and McCormack it is ahead of Ben Gillius as they work their way through Riches and then up towards the Montreal hairpin. Squeal of tyres as the cars work their way on Avon rubber up towards the hairpin, with McCormack then having been on the outside of the front row, trying to get away, but he goes a little bit too quickly into the hairpin, almost loses it, gathers it all up under control again, and then sprints off down towards turn 3, one up the curb. Whoops, there's some contact as well, I'm afraid, there as two get together. John Timperley in number 15 being given a bit of a helping hand from Michael O'Reilly. Down towards the left-hander they go then, and work their way through the infield for the first time. So Jay McCormack trying to get away here. Chasing after him though is Ben Gillius, and a big lock-up by McCormack. That's two close shaves he's had on the opening lap. He's got away with both of them though. And now they turn their way through Agostini. And there's drama because two more have contrived to get together. One of them escaping is Anthony Taylor, number 14. There was another car involved with him. Meantime, the leaders work their way through the infield for the first time. 69 there, Eric Tiv, and he's coming under pressure from Richard Toomey. The two of them absolutely nose to tail. On board with James Beardwell. Now James started on the third row, 5th he qualified. He was the winner of the sprint at Aintree, but he's lost a little bit of ground on the opening few corners. So now he's trying to slipstream his way back into contention as the cars work their way down Bentley Straight. Ahead of him is that third and fourth place fight between Tiv and Toomey. And Richard Toomey gets up the inside, but he can't quite find a way through as they work their way into the S's as was. Tiv has the inside line, round the outside, tries to go Toomey, and it works. That was really good stuff. They may be racing rookies, only the second ever race they would have done, but many illustrating their ability. Replay of the start on board here with James Beardwell. Lights go red, engine notes rise. Lights go out, a little bit slow away there. Eric Tiv ahead of us in the blue and white car, but then he goes up through the gears and tries to defend, tries to squeeze across, but then Richard Toomey able to try to use the road at pit out as they go down towards Riches for the first time. They're heading towards the checkered flag. The two race leaders have got Coram here, and then the left at the end of the lap still to go. Nose to tail, they drop down towards this final corner. Jay McCormack looking to make it 2 out of 2. Ben Gillius is in the slipstream. Is he going to be able to dart out at the very last moment? It looks like he's left it too late. Jay McCormack clocks his mirror, comes up towards the timing line. Ben Gillius tries to get alongside, and it's a virtual dead heat between the two of them as they go over the timing line. Ben Gillius doesn't quite make it. It is Jay McCormack who takes the win as here Eric Tiv goes through for 5th, fending off Philip Bianchi, but Ben Gillius takes the win because Jay McCormack has been given a 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits. Ben Gillius then wins the race, McCormack down to second, and it's James Beardwell who rounds out the top 3.
We said it was really close after qualifying. There was 100th in it, and I reckon it was probably closer over the line. So it was a really great race. We tried to pull away from the pack. I could see them closing at the start, then we pulled a bit of a lead, and I thought it's going to be the last lap or not at all. And it turned out to be not at all, but with a penalty, we walk away with the win. So happy.
3 happy drivers on the Snetterton podium. And what does that do to the championship? Now they've had 2 sprints and 2 races. It means that Ben Gillies has a 7-point advantage now over James Beardwell. Jay McCormack third ahead of Philip Bianchi, with Richard Toomey and Eric Tiv rounding out top 6. The other half of the City Magazine Caterham Academy Championship on the grid. You're on board with the championship leader, Peter Spencer. Stephen Tozer and Tom John, second and third in the title race. Wins this year, Tom John and Ian Johnson the sprints. Peter Spencer the race at Rockingham. Lights go out and it's blast off, and a good start by the pole man, Stephen Tozer in the orange car, as they accelerate their way now up towards the right at Riches. You're on board with Spencer, who has gone backwards off the line. He was third, he's not third anymore, look. He's got to try to fight back on the inside. Goes ahead of Ben Wilson on the inside as they work their way round Riches now. Through turn 1, up towards the Montreal hairpin. And on board here with Peter Spencer, he goes to the outside line, finds the room, but brakes so late, he just runs far, far too wide. He's in danger of being mugged on the run down towards turn 3 now, as everybody else tries to find a way round him. Into the left-hander that brings you down towards Agostini. This is Spencer's view, and he's going a little bit wide and a little bit sideways. He's heading for the dirt. He finds the curb, which steadies him and gives him a bit more traction, and so now he's got to go defensive, but look at the gap already that he's dropped to the race leaders. Through Agostini, they turn for the first time. It's another 15-minute race, and there was a car off, I thought, in the background, just coming onto that short straight between turns 3 and 4, and there it is, look, number 79 in strife. Arno Greybeck out of the race. Now, can that car easily be moved? No, is the answer. A red flag is shown, and it's going to have to be a race stop. It's not just the car, it's also the barriers that are of concern. So can we see who did what to which and to whom? I don't think it was entirely Greybeck's fault, because somebody came across the road and glanced him, and that fired him across into the barrier. So Arno Greybeck now with a damaged car, but a big impact into the barrier. So we're down to 12 minutes for the restart underway. The field accelerates down towards Riches. Peter Spencer on board, looking now to try to find a way past the quick starting Pete Walters in 88, the black car. But yet again, Spencer, having qualified well, not brilliant out of the blocks, and already there is drama. More cars getting involved with one another. In the midst of all of that was Barry O'Brien in 45, others being caught up in the melee. Ian Johnson, I think, was another one involved, and that has served to split up the pack. You've kind of got two groups now. Those that made it through, those that very definitely didn't. So the cars work their way now through the left-hander on the run towards Agostini. Back on board with Peter Spencer. Now he's got himself up into third place, so now he is far more realistic a challenger for a race win than he was before the red flag. Down they come towards Agostini. He pulls to the inside line, brakes as late as he dares, and he goes through up into second spot there. Stephen Tozer leads the way, looking strong. Tom John gets all sideways, runs out wide. Is he going to lose it? Yes, he is. The man that's third in the championship was second on the grid, is the first of the leaders to fall. Replay of the start. Now have a look at what Peter Spencer does to lose places. Just doesn't seem to get a very good start. Pure and simply bogs down. A good start though by the black car there of Pete Walters, round the outside of him from the third row. Also going past is Nick Graham in number 4. Graham's on the left. Does he hang on to the place going into Riches? He tries to, but he's on the outside line and drops back. The race leaders then make their way up towards the checkered flag. Is it going to be a win for Peter Spencer or a win for Stephen Tozer? Because they're absolutely side by side, and Tozer is going to get it on the line. He just squeezes through to win by 7/100ths of a second. Perfect Caterham racing. Slipstream your way to the checkered flag and get the move done on the line. Stephen Tozer then makes it 4 different winners in 4 rounds. He wins, Peter Spencer second, and Tom John recovering from his spin. He finishes in third place. Wow, what a race.
Yeah! That's been a long time coming.
I don't know what to say really. It was just, I thought I had him, I can't remember where it was, going down Bentley Straight, I think. Oh no, sorry, going down the first straight into that last lap. But Pete is so hard and tenacious to pass. And he got back in front of me and battled his way through, and then I just thought, hold it. I knew I got better drive off the last corner, so dropped it to second, booted it, and managed to get the toe and get past him right in the last second. Oh, what a feeling.
So what does all this do to the championship after 4 rounds? It gives Peter Spencer a 1-point advantage. Stephen Tozer second. He's 3 up on Tom John, who's 3 up on Pete Walters. The rest have got some work to do. For now, though, they're in the celebrations. Time to move up a category and have a look at the Avon Tyres Caterham Tracksport Championship. These cars, all with Ford Sigma 1600cc 125 brake horsepower engines, 5-speed gearboxes, and the championship led by the man on pole position for this race, Anthony Barnes, who so far has taken 4 wins to the 2 of Daniel Bremner, who is behind him in the championship. 10 points between them. The Tracksports get 30 minutes of racing. They get 2 races for the weekend as well. Race 1 about to get underway. The lights are red. Engine notes rise when the lights go out. Now they're away. Who makes the best start? It's Paul Aram from the outside of the front row who gets away very, very swiftly indeed. But Anthony Barnes, the poleman, tries to repel the challenge on the way down towards Riches. Round the outside also tries to go Steve McCulley, number 97 in the black and white car. And they power their way now up towards the Montreal hairpin for the first time. It's Paul Aram in the blue car there trying to defend, but he's lost the race lead. Look, Anthony Barnes, it is just ahead as they scrabble their way round the hairpin for the first time. So Anthony Barnes, the software developer, leads the way on board here with Andrew Ebden as they work their way into turn 3, and he's down in what, 6th, 7th place, looking for a way to get past Daniel Bremner, double winner this year already. Andy Ebden, at 62 years of age at the start of the season, coming into Caterham's relatively late in life, but enjoying his racing as they turn their way round Agostini for the first time. Lots of tyre squeal, 1 or 2 running wide up onto the curb, on board with Ebden now. Formerly an aircraft engineer for the RAF, now a consultant and a very handy Caterham racer. Up through Oggies he goes, through the right-hander that takes you round to Williams, then onto Bentley Straight. But while here, Steve McCulley, look, is on the inside of Paul Aram and taking with him Matthew Lambert as they battle, so the race leader is getting away. Up front, Anthony Barnes is pulling clear of the rest of them. On board with Ebden now as they work their way down towards the S's. The Brundle-Nelson sequence of corners as it's been renamed with the modifications to the track. But up front, look at the way that the race leader, Anthony Barnes, is doing just what you need. Try to push hard on cold tyres and build up a gap, and then make sure you've broken that toe that anybody else could benefit from to get themselves back onto your tail. There's a long line of cars all squabbling, what, 2nd down to 8th? And Andy Ebden is one of those, through the right-hander of the bomb hole, now into Coram Curve. 18 through Daniel Bremner, double winner this year, but Bremner with a lot of work to do. But in a 30-minute race, there's always time to make that charge later in the race. You don't have to do it right at the start. Just stay in that leading group, in that peloton, if you like, and then push towards the end. Bremner comes up to attack Paul Aram now as they go over the timing line. They're going to be side by side, these two, on the run now down towards Riches, into the right-hander, still tied together, but Aram hangs onto that place. A replay of the start here on board with Andy Ebden. Lights are red, lights go out, he blasts away. Up through the gears, loses out though as Matthew Lambert's almost Swedish liveried car, the blue and yellow car, goes past him on the left. More places lost as well because there Barry Moore goes ahead round the outside and Moore breaks really late going into Riches. It's all action. Race leaders side by side. Matthew Lambert, number 11 in the blue car, dives up the inside and he's managed to find a way past only briefly Anthony Barnes, and Barnes back ahead on the run to turn 3. This is race 1 of the weekend in the Avon Tyres Caterham Tracksport Championship here at Snetterton, and a great race it is proving to be. On board here with Andy Ebden on the run down towards Agostini, it is a 30-minute race and drivers pushing all the way through. Early race leading gap that Anthony Barnes had, that's long since gone, and you can see that not only is the gap gone, he's got them all stacked up behind him, and some running out of road completely. Cars on the grass, debris on the road, up towards Hamilton now, the left-hander. Now a replay from onboard Andy Ebden here of what went on up at Agostini. And Daniel Bremner, I think it was there, being squeezed out wide, gets it back onto the circuit, but loses a place. Last lap through the bomb hole, down towards Coram now. Is it going to be a maiden win this year for Matthew Lambert? It looks as though the answer is yes, because he's just creeping away as they turn their way now from Coram down towards the end of the lap. Daniel Bremner in the wheel tracks of Anthony Barnes, but Matthew Lambert has done enough. The gap ain't going to come down, and Matthew Lambert scores a first ever win in the Caterham Tracksport Championship. Barnes and then Aram, second and third across the line, with Daniel Bremner being given a 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits. So Matthew Lambert the winner, Anthony Barnes second, and Paul Aram promoted to a podium finish. Fourth goes the way of Barry Moore. Daniel Bremner drops down to fifth, and the top six rounded out by Andy Ebden.
I've raced a lot of stuff, but that was probably the closest racing I've ever had. Really, really fun race. I knew I was going a bit defensive to start off with, and that might have backed the pack up a bit, but you know, you've got to do what you've got to do to stay in front. So, yeah, great race.
So another lively race at Snetterton this weekend, but Matthew Lambert is the man who celebrates a win. The other question of the weekend was whether Lambert could do the double. The second 30-minute race began with him on pole position. Andy Ebden was quick out of the blocks, looking to try to gain ground, and so too was Steve McCulley in 97, who came storming past him. It was another all-action race, but it was Matthew Lambert who was ahead when they got to the checkered flag. He had to work hard to get himself through into the race lead, but when it counted, it was a win for Lambert at the checkered flag. His advantage was 2 seconds over Anthony Barnes, with Barry Moore coming home for third place. So 2 race wins, a great result for Matthew Lambert. It brings him into the mix in the championship now. He's creeping his way up the order all the time. For now, though, Anthony Barnes leads ahead of Damien Milkins, Daniel Bremner rounding out the top 3. It's time to move up another class now, because the ITC Compliance Caterham Supersport Championship is next onto the circuit. Will Smith has been the driver to beat this year, 5 race wins in total. And these cars, the Supersports with 1600cc Ford Sigma engines, they generate 140 brake horsepower, 7,200 RPM. They've got 5-speed gearboxes, and they're on the Avon ZZS tyre with track suspension, and they weigh in at about 600 kilos with the driver. They're very rapid little bits of kit, and this promises to be a very lively race indeed. Now, the championship coming here, led by, not surprisingly, Will Smith, 5 race wins to his name. Jack Brown is second, and he has also taken 2 victories. Henry Heaton has had 1, and he's third in the title race. On board with Ben Tuck as they look now towards the lights, ready for 30 minutes of action around the Snetterton 300 circuit. 5-second board display. Drivers now look towards the lights, which go red. When the lights go out, now we're racing, and a really good start made by Chris Hutchinson's yellow car from way back 8th on the grid. He goes round the outside as Ben Tuck tries to get up the inside on the way down towards Riches. Just up the road ahead there, Eddie Powell in 86, the orange guy, is going to go through on the inside of him. And already there's a drama because a big lose there. Turning their way around Riches for the first time puts Mark Davis onto the grass. The leaders work their way, some sideways, some 3-4 abreast, round Montreal for the first time and down towards the left-hander that loops you round towards Agostini, which in itself is a key outbraking opportunity on the lap. And this is Ben Tuck's view, and he's very busy. He's trying to attack, he's trying to defend, it's all kicking off around him. Down they come towards the left-hander, with just in the lead at the moment Tim Dickens, an experienced Caterham driver is Tim, and he works his way up now towards the left of Hamilton, out of Agostini. So the race leaders up towards the midpoint of lap 1 of 30 minutes of racing, which should be round about 13, maybe just 14 laps of competition here. Dickens trying to make good his escape, trying to get out of the tow, and if he can leave everybody else to squabble behind him, then he can start to pull away and build a gap. Ben Tuck busy still, riding the curbs, coming onto Bentley Straight. Track limits has been an issue for some drivers in some races over the course of the weekend, and Tuck now gets himself into the slipstream, up the inside, and now the move is on against Richard Ainscoe. The leaders work their way down to the S's though, and up front still Tim Dickens as he comes now down towards the bomb hole. Others being elbowed out wide. Look in the background, there's just about enough room to squeeze your way back onto the circuit. And through the bomb hole, Jack Brown in number 90 back onto the circuit. Now Jack has got work to do here, no doubt about it. in 18, turning his way down towards the completion of lap 1, and with a fair amount of work to do indeed in the body of the field now is Philip Jenkins, but the race leaders come up over the timing line, and the advantage that Dickens had has long since disappeared. Replay of the start here on board with Tuck, lights go out. Tuck accelerates away up through the gears. Mike Evans over on the far side. He gets himself up alongside 18 there, which is Philip Jenkins, and squeezes past him. The next target is Eddie Powell in 96. Up the inside, rides the curve. There's just about enough width on the inside, so through he goes. So Will Smith, having started 6th on the grid, has now worked his way through into the lead. It's been a very, very busy race this for him, but Will Smith now is the man in charge. He's working his way once more down Bentley Straight and trying to get away from the rest of them. Now, has he been able to establish a gap? Has he broken the toe? They're all still stacked up behind him, but they're all still battling as well. In 99 there is Max McDonough, and he's up to 2nd place as they bounce over the curb. They're all going to carry on squabbling amongst themselves, and that will play right into the hands of the race leader now. The Renault dealership sales manager, Will Smith, long gone as far as McDonough, and right up behind him, Henry Heaton are concerned. They're going to squabble all the way to the line, but Will Smith, astonishingly, is going to make it a 6th win of the season. He took 1 at Brands, he won both at Anglesey, both at Zolder, and he's going to win again here in race 1 at Snetterton. Will Smith comes over the timing line to win in East Anglia. 2nd is Max McDonough. Henry Heaton takes 3rd. And that makes it 6 in a row for Will Smith, and he, understandably, is a delighted driver. So Smith the winner by over a second from Max McDonough and Henry Heaton. In 4th, it's Tim Dickens ahead of Jack Brown, with Philip Jenkins, Mike Evans and Dan Gore rounding out the top 8. As again, Smith is the man to beat.
Didn't know which way I was going to go at the midpoint, but then I managed to get a little break when they fought behind and just really tried to hammer in some good laps. Didn't know whether I was going to make it in the end or not, but I did, and I'm thrilled, over the moon with it.
That now puts Smith clear in the championship by 20 points over Heaton. He is just now 9 ahead of Jack Brown. Christian Charuta 4 from Max McDonough and Chris Hutchinson. Our last look at Caterham's motorsport activities here this weekend, and it's the fastest cars of the weekend. The bookertrack.com Caterham R300-S Championship will take to the track in a moment, with Aaron Head here as the championship leader, Lee Wiggins 2nd, and Jack Sales 3rd. Aaron Head has taken 5 race wins, Lee Wiggins has taken 1, and Aaron Head is the man who lines up on pole position. He's very much the man to beat in these cars, but this is not going to be an easy race, that is for sure. Green flag waved at the back to say that everybody is back from the warming up lap. Drivers now look towards the lights, which go red. Engine notes will rise. The lights go out. A good start made by Head. A good start also made by Lee Wiggins on the run now up towards Riches for the first time. Wiggins in the green car gets away well, and in fact Aaron Head in the black car with the pink cage has fallen back into 3rd place as they work their way around Riches for the first time now. 1 or 2 with work to do then after a POC start, but up front it is Lee Wiggins who leads the way in towards the Montreal hairpin. And where's Aaron Head? He's 3rd in the queue as they turn their way then out of the hairpin and down towards turn 3. And really encouraging here isn't just the fact that it looks very, very frenetic for the race positions, but it's a really big grid. This class has had a year or 2, not exactly in the doldrums, but being fairly modest on entries. But here we've got 26 of them and more promised before the end of the year. It means it is all action as diving up the inside there goes Philip Gladman. Phil Gladman returning to Caterham's after many, many years away. He's been off racing in historic single-seaters, but Gladman back where it all started, and he's looking as quick as ever. But Lee Wiggins leads the way, and he is trying to escape up the road here. Replay of the start here on board with Clive Richards. Look to the lights, they go out. Wiggins had crept but stopped, but it's away well, and he leads on the run down to Riches. Aaron Head bogged down, so Clive Richards worked his way up round the outside and takes the place. Aaron Head, the new race leader. Out of Coram he comes. Wiggins down to 2nd place. Now, is this going to be a 2nd win for Wiggins or a 6th for Head? Let's find out, because they are still nose to tail on the run up towards the timing line once again here. Up they come, past the pits. The race leaders through together. They're starting to pull away from Clive Richards now. Jack Sales runs fourth, fifth is Dyer, sixth and seventh the black car of Stephen Nuttall. And this, the trim trailer of Philip Gladman. Wheel Arch parting company. They both get up the inside of Dyer and there's more contact. Matt in dire straits, I'm afraid, because he's been given an assist there. Gladman dived up the inside. Stephen Nuttall got through. Gladman tried to follow him. Dyer turned into the corner and bang, here it is again. So Stephen Nuttall look ahead. He gets the toe. He's up the inside. He gains the place. And Phil Gladman was only halfway alongside when Matt Dyer tried to turn in and take the line for the corner. Gladman with a wave to apologise. They work their way down towards the bomb hole now, and Richards all of a sudden has to start thinking about defending third rather than attacking for second place. And look, straight away Wiggins gets away. Sales working his way around Coram. Can he dive up the inside here on the run down towards the last corner of the last lap? Aaron Head is going to come through for win number 6 of the season. Checkered flag at the ready, and Aaron Head wins once more here at Snetterton. It is a win for Aaron Head. The man from Hornchurch comes through victorious. In second place is Lee Wiggins, and nose to tail for third at the flag. Clive Richards just fending off Jack Sales by 0.121 of a second. Head from Wiggins. Aaron wins for the 6th time this year. Aaron Head from Lee Wiggins and Clive Richards in third. Jack Sales comes home fourth.
I'd have Lee on the main straight. He would then have me on the back straight, and then coming back and we'd just do it every lap again and again. And then I was like, oh no. And then it was just thinking, you know, because it wasn't pulling away, so it was thinking, do I take him because by the time I slipstreamed him, I was past him by the start finish, or do I do him at the back and then just fend him off, you know? So luckily enough though, just made a gap on him through the infield and then pulled away from there. Clive got tangled with him, and then they just got stuck together and I just pulled a gap, and it was beautiful from there.
What a weekend for Aaron Head then. Championship lead increases. It's Lee Wiggins second and Jack Sales in third. Clive Richards fourth from Stephen Nuttall, and John Mortimer now rounding out the top 6. The celebrations on the podium at Snetterton. The series moves on to Alton Park.